Well, friends, these are the key indicators. I'm not going to spend time on it. Just institutional vision leadership, you have to write it in 500 words. So qualitative. And then effective leadership is visible in the various institutional practices such as decentralization possible. You write as a case study how your principal is doing. Strategy development deployment. Again, it's a qualitative. What is the institutional strategy or your prospect plan which has to be effectively displayed? There should be at least one activity you have to give a case study. Again, the function of institutional bodies is effective and efficient as resumed in the policies, administrative, appointment, service flow, etc. And then you give the organogram arrangement. And then 6.23 is quantitative implementation e-governance in areas such as administration, 1, finance and account, 2, student 3, and 4 examination. Give the ERP document, give screenshots of user interfaces, any additional information you can give. Details of implementing e-governance in areas of operation, administration, you give the data templates. Now, with regard to 6.3, faculty empowerment strategy. First one, institution have an effective welfare measure for teaching. You give in writing 500 words. Next one, average person of teachers provided the finance support to attend conferences, workshops, to become member of the personal audits. All this data was provided. Year-wise, number, name of the teacher, with data. And then again, for the personal development program, quantitative, or the administrative training programs organized by the institution for teaching and analysis staff. Year-wise number, title, duration with days. Again, the quantity, QN, average plus teachers undergoing online or face-to-face faculty development program like this during the last 5 years. And then the other personal development programs, maybe orientation course, maybe induction course, or a referral course, or a short-term course. And year-wise number, title of the program with the duration test and the IKS report. IKS is supplemented. Report of the HRDCs because a boy or a teacher might have undergone program, orientation or the reference course in a HRDC. That report also and any other additional information is data. And then institutional performance support system for the teaching and administrative staff. Description of functional status must be given qualitatively, 500 words. And then finance management resource mobilization, again a qualitative statement. The institution conducts internal and external final audits regularly. Enumerate the various internal and external audits carried out so far. There's some spelling mistake, don't worry. And then 6.42 quantitative. Funds or grants received from non-government bodies, individuals, philanthropists during the last one. Please note the point, non-government, not UGC, but state government, because they want the college institution to develop non-government agencies. And then what are the total grants received year-wise in lakhs, name and award, data tabulation, and then qualitative. Institutional strategies for mobilization of funds. What are the strategies you have? Whether you go to MP fund or MLA fund or any other development grant. Or again, it's not a question of fundraising. Optimal utilization of resources and description of resource mobilization policy and the procedure adopted for this. And then I am coming to the very important aspect, the internal quality assurance system. Please note, it's a qualitative, internal quality assurance cell is the heart of any institution. You have to say this has contributed significantly for institutionalizing the quality assurance strategies. See, anything, say for summer teaching, some institutions doing extremely well. You take this as a model, they call them as benchmarks. Why they have got so much high mark in this teaching line? What is that they are adopting? Take it as a model. Try to practice the same here in your institution. So you have to benchmark certain things. Where you are weak, you go to the other institution who have got highest grade in that areas Take it as a benchmark and follow it here. It may be teaching learning, it may be research, it may be student support, it may be governance, it may be infra, anything for that matter. Remember, benchmarking is a must for the IKC. They have to find out. And then you have to describe any two practices based on that. You have become institutionalized. Please note, the word is very important. Everybody must follow it. Institution as a whole, not for the single individual. As a result of IKS initiative, you have to write it clearly in 5 words. Again, the IKS say reviews the teaching learning process. No longer the same old teaching. Previously I used to say teaching is important. Then I used to say reaching is important. Then I used to say reaching the mind is not important. Reaching the heart is important. You know, now I'm saying teaching is not important. Reaching is not important. Learning is important. The emphasis has been shifted from teaching, reaching to learning. Why learning? Because, and that too, independent learning, interactive learning, collaborative learning. Independently, when the boy or a girl reads on his or her own, she or he tries to understand. Please remember. If there is any difficulty, they can share, interact, get the ideas clarified. Interaction may be between the student, among the students, or between the teacher and the student. And then they can collaborate. In fact, you have to form buddy group. Buddy group is nothing but mixing of students of different levels. Some intelligent student, some weak student, some obligate. That's what we call it as collaborative, not cooperative. Please, there is a difference between collaborative learning and cooperative learning. So facilitate independent learning, interactive learning, and collaborative learning. This should be practiced. And then the IKS should ensure. And also, the IKS must ensure the outcome-based education is practiced. Of course, it has not become mandatory. But then how you are practicing, how you are unique and different from others, whether your curriculum is planned as per that. You fix the outcome first, and if to time the outcome, you have to create the curriculum. And then the teachers must have objectives for the students' outcomes, but for the teachers' objectives. The objectives are, in order to attain the outcome, this methodology of teaching process, this methodology of assessing projects has to happen. So outcome for the students, objective for the teachers, and the whole process has to be monitored. And also the outcome attainment must be mapped and see whether your process is okay. This is the role of IKS. And IKS will ensure every aspect of quality mandate. The outcome-based implementation is one of it. Giving skill-based training is another of it. There are many things. Student interaction program, faculty, all these are coming under the purview of IKSE. And then you have to tell in the SSR, there is a first cycle, what you did do in the last 5 years. It is, say for example, now Manatramaya has gone for third cycle. What is that you have done between the second cycle and the third cycle, how they improve. So you have to give at least 2 examples of institute reviews and implementation of teaching reforms facilitated. Today, I have to talk about ICT teaching learning, blended learning, flip learning, how visualization, animations, simulations, and how we use ICT tools. I'll give a separate lecture, something different on the teachers and technology. And then it's the institution responsibility, IKS responsibility. Qualification initiatives of the institution. First, regular meeting of internal qualification. Feedback collected on curriculum, analyzed, and then used for improvement. Annual quarter assurance report prepared and submitted. Collaborative quality initiatives with other institutions. And then participation in NIRF. Any other quality audit, academic audit, recognized by state, national, or you can have ISO certification and what not. Well, friends, I repeat, IKC plays a major role and it should ensure in all aspects of UGC's quality mandate is being ensured in the college. In fact, I used to give a separate lecture on UGC quality mandate and the role by the HSE. I don't have time here. So on the online formats, templates have been submitted for the strategy deployment, development deployment, and the implementation of e-governance. All these things are already discussed. And the areas of e-governance, who is the vendor who gives the software and in which areas. Similarly, average percent of teachers provided for the finance, all those details, these are all only templates. Don't worry about it. See, again, quoted the same thing. All the details here. Friends, now we are going to best practices. An education institution operates in the context of a larger education system. In order to be relevant in changing national and global context, an education institution has to be responsive to the emerging challenges and the pressing issues. I repeat, the education institution should be responsive to the emerging challenges and pressing issues. I'm happy the challenges because of COVID-19, we are unable to have face-to-face interaction. But that the challenges are now being paid by online enrichment. So you can now discuss the pressing issues. At least the faculty are getting that. Now the institution has a social responsibility to be proactive in the efforts towards development in the larger context, not the narrower context. The role of the institution is reflected in terms of the kinds of programs. Don't have the same old program. Be relevant today. Suppose if you are going to be computer science, you should have data science, you should have artificial intelligence, you should have deep learning, big data analytics. All these things, these are all skill-based courses which will bring job to the students. So don't say the conventional program. Try to change. This is biology, biotechnology, molecular biology, microbiology. And then don't say the same economics, neuroeconomics, biosocial science. So there is a biological hurricane sweeping across all social sciences. Friends, the social sciences, I want to tell you, this century belongs to you. Last century was to the physical, natural scientists. Now this century belongs to social scientists. You have to be very proactive. You have to seize opportunity until you can do wonders. But then you have to have integration with the natural science also. To which extent the institution is impacting this is a sheer reflection of its quality. Now, what are the core institution values? What for you stand? Quality and continuous improvement. Please remember, our education will strive for quality in all that it does. Teaching, learning, evaluation, student support services, governance, the best practice, everything. It will also strive for continuous improvement in all the areas until measure its progress with appropriate national standards. Then student learning and student development. I repeat, this is student-centered education. In fact, I used to talk about student-centric education for about 10 minutes. That will take my time. So I'm not, if my time permits, I will come back to you. It should be student-centered education. It will strive to provide educational experiences of exceptional quality. Please, please, my dear fellow teachers, don't expect the student to learn only from you. Why not they be exposed to MOOC platforms like edX, which is hosted by Harvard University, MIT, and top universities, where the Nobel laureates are giving the lectures, the same subject which you are teaching. That subject is available in the form of a MOOC course and the edX platform. So the student has the opportunity to send to the best of the brains of the world, the Nobel laureates. Or they can go to the SWAM program platform, where the best of the brains of the country, they are giving the lessons on the same subject. So encourage them. Don't impose your business. That's what I mean by students should have the autonomy to choose the time, choose the space, choose the speed in which they learn. So the HCA should, a student-centered institution, it will strive to provide educational experience of exceptional quality and the student life environment that provides a healthy personal development, human values, ethics, good citizenship, Indian mind, and whatnot. Institutional integrity in community. A HCA should strive to develop long-term relationship based on honesty, fairness, and respect. It is not just the 3 years alone. See, still I love American College, where I studied MSc. That's the kind of relationship I developed. Still I love St. John's, where I did the BSc. Still I love Madurai Kamaraj, where I did the PhD. So it's a lifelong. See, even today, all the faculty members of Bharathiyar University, Noorul University, Wales University, they have a personal bonding with me. You know, if you look at my Facebook, my God, everybody's relationship. So it is not just that kind of relationship. It's beyond. So it should have a long-term relationship based on honesty, fairness, and respect. It will further strive to provide a safe environment that supports freedom of inquiry, protects diversity, and fosters a sense of well-being. The institution must protect the well-being of every student. Why every student? Every teacher, every supporting staff, principal, and institutional agility and entrepreneurship. The HCA should strive to minimize bureaucracy. Bureaucracy increases delays. Agility is fastness. So HCA should strive to minimize bureaucracy, the cost, institutional inertia, that's called agility in all forms. It will further service to accept appropriate risk in pursuit of stewardship and service. Stewardship is just like a management, but I would prefer the word leadership. If the principal is going to say, I did it, I will say he is your manager. If the principal say, yes, we did it, then he takes everybody together, then he is a leader. So there is a lot of difference who is a leader and who is a manager. Leadership and management, there's a separate talk for me for about another 3 hours or 2.5 hours. So I'm not going to talk about stewardship and service. A HCA should strive to provide the responsible management of all its resources while encouraging the spirit of service. Repeat, the spirit of service to society and the lifestyle of philanthropy. Now for the science and technology institutions, a higher education institution must define the following enduring, that is sustained, guiding principles for its continued growth and development as quality science, technology, engineering, management institution. These institutions must have groundbreaking transdisciplinary research. I repeat, groundbreaking transdisciplinary. To your mind, the stride program should come in. That generates knowledge and innovative design for science.
Sir, any problem, sir? Sudhakar?
Yes, sir. His video has got cut, sir.
Yes, yes. Let him come in, sir. Let him come. Wait for a minute. He will come in, sir.
Yes, sir.
Is there any problem in Lama?
No issue, ma'am. He'll just come. He's a co-host. No issues, ma'am.
Okay, now.
No, he told us yesterday that if the net is disconnected, he will go out and come back immediately. So let us wait for a few minutes. Otherwise, we'll call him. No problem. Please, Sudhakar, you have his landline, I think. So please call him and see.
He's inside. He's logging.
Yes, yes. No problem. No problem.
He's
Don't be panic, please.
RS
Sudhakar, please.
No problem.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Sir,
because
You are live, sir.
don't
yes,
worry.
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank
There
you,
was
sir.
somebody calling from the phone. No problem.
Okay.
No problem. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the science institutions great groundbreaking transdisciplinary research. They said transdisciplinary immediately the UG's tried scheme must come to your mind, and it generates knowledge and innovative design, not design, innovative design for science and engineering, and it can solve a challenging and complex problem driven by relentless and research. Again, integrity. Maintain the highest standards of academic and professional ethics, fairness, honesty in all areas, particularly in research. Like Garrison brought it there. UGC come out with the rules and regulations. Creativity is integral part of teaching research and research processes and driven by all these things. And then lifelong learning. Lifelong learning skills are developed through rigorous curriculum, challenging educational experience teaching, the foundation of critical thinking. I repeat, the student must be able to think. The thinking will happen only he understands. When he memorizes, nothing happens. So please understand, you should make the student understand the subject. So educational experience with the foundation of critical thinking, which will lead to creative thinking, in turn leads to innovation. So critical thinking, problem solving, leading to invigorating research and significant professional development that prepares the student, faculty, staff for continuing individual and career growth. Excellent. High quality education research drive excellence in all aspects. And then economic prosperity and technological development. Okay. Oh. One minute, just I'm trying to move the slide further. I find it.
Sir, sir, you can go ahead.
I'm unable to move the slide. I'm unable to move the slide.
Vimala ma'am.
1 minute, just a minute. Just unable to move the slide.
Vimala ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir. See, sir, she is coming and she is rescuing you. Sir. No,
No, it's coming.
she will help you. She is assisting
Okay.
you, sir.
So, okay. Economic prosperity, technology development. STEM education, research, and technology concept are the drivers of economic prosperity and technology development in the state, nation, and the world. Continuous faculty, researcher, and staff professional development program and opportunity to pursue STEM careers are all part of the future. And we have to have integrated planning and decision making. There is openness, fairness, collaboration, and stakeholder input in the university operations or college operations are driven by accurate and reliable data made available to the campus. Please note positive performance support from collegial and collaborative environment contribute to the development of our students. Now, the best practices and the social response. Institutional values, organize gender equity promotion programs. The institution displays sensitivity to issues like climate change, environmental issues, and friendly practices, and take necessary actions such as energy conservation, rainwater harvesting, waste recycling, carbon neutrality, green practices. The institution facilitates the differently abled, effective dealing of location advantages and disorder. Please note, effective dealing of location design to become such a way, taking the advantage of local situation, and then disadvantages. Don't we call it a situationist. Explicit concern for human values and prosperity. In other words, the concerns for social responsibilities as well as the values held by the institution are explicit in its regular activities. Every institution has a mandate.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, excuse
Yeah,
me.
please, I'm hearing.
This is Subbu, sir. Sir, can you please mute your video, sir, so that because the audio is not stable. Sometimes
I'm screen
video,
sharing.
sir. Your video, sir. Your video. So if you disable it,
Stop. Okay.
you stop your video, sir.
Yeah, I stop.
Yes, sir. Now you go over, sir. Please, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Every institution has a yeah.
Yes, sir.
So
The
at
audio
least
is
a few
very clear,
questions
sir. Very
okay,
clear.
okay. No
Thank you,
problem. So every institution mandate responsibility. At least a few pressing issues such as gender equity. We have to make a gender equity, environmental consciousness and sustainability, inclusiveness and prosthetics. But the way we address these and evolve these practices will be, I repeat, we have to address gender equity, environmental consciousness and sustainability, inclusiveness, prosthetics. But the way in which you address this differs from institution. Thereby you can have a best practice. And every institution faces and resolves various kinds of internal process and situations while doing this. Several meaningful practices pertaining to such situations are evolved within the institution, internal, that is inductive effect, internal, and these help smooth functioning and also lead to enhanced impact. Such practices which are evolved internally by the institution to improvements in any one aspect of its functioning, maybe academic, maybe administrative, maybe organization, are recognized as a best practice. So please remember the definition. Such are those practices which are evolved internally within the institution, by the institution, leading to improvement in every action, maybe academic, maybe administrative, maybe organization, are recognized as best practice. Over a period of time, due to such unique ways of functioning, each institution develops distinct characteristics which becomes its recognizable attribute. That's a distinctness. There's a problem to move my slide. Kavita, madam? Problem to move my slide.
Sir, you want to move to the next slide, sir?
Next slide, yeah, next slide.
Sir,
Next.
can I share my screen, sir?
No, Vimla ma'am.
Yeah, please.
I am Kavita, sir.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I'm doing, no issue.
No, Kavita ma'am, please wait. See you.
Next slide, please. Next slide, quick. quick. Yeah. Friends, once you, no, next. Next slide, please. Right. The identification of best practice. So go back. Please go back. Vimala, please go back.
Yes, sir.
Please go back.
Vimala, that is 35th slide, Vimala.
Still go back.
That 35th. That's,
You are moving in the front.
Vimala, Dr. Vimala.
Yes, ma'am.
Please go back, ma'am.
That is 35th slide.
பின்னாடி போங்க. No, பின்னாடி போங்க. Go back. No, still. Next slide. Next.
Identification of best practice.
Next. Go back. Just go back. One slide.
Just one slide. Oh, okay, it's it.
Okay. Now you are going far. Pick up on it. What is the best practice? Stop here. Just go ahead. The best practice. Now go back, please. Madam Vimala.
Yes, sir.
Best practice. Next one.
Is
Next
that okay,
one.
sir?
No. That's right. Stop here. What is the best practice? Go back. What is the best practice? Heading பாருங்க.
Yes, sir.
Stop here. இதுல இருந்து கரெக்ட்டா போயிட்டு இருங்க. Best practices, the practices which add commendable value to an institution and its various stakeholders are considered as reliable standards or benchmarks of quality. The best institutions are those which widely use them. To put it differently, institutional excellence in higher education is the aggregate of all these best practices followed in different areas of institutional thought. The NAC is advocating best benchmarking approach for quality enhancement in higher education. Next slide.
Yes, sir. I have
Sir,
changed.
he moved it, sir.
Okay. The identification of best practices. The identification of best practices depends on many variables, such as institutional goals, pedagogic requirements, global concerns, local context, nature of learners, competence of the staff, infrastructure facilities, and governance requirements. All these should be kept in mind when identifying the best practice. It is well known that there is an incongruence between how we teach and how the students learn. I repeat, this is for the teachers. There is incongruence between how we teach and how the students learn. All this add to the complexity and choice of the best practice. What might be considered as a best practice are limited in number of ways. First, we consider that to be the best education practice depends upon our own limited knowledge, our own perspectives, the context in which we are, the interests and the values. The interests and the values on which the practice are premised may be contested by others. In that case, many of the assumptions on which the practice are premised will not hold good. Secondly, best practices are contingent, context dependent, and defy generic decisions. So in these practices, if these practices are to be useful to all, we need to identify these so restated as to be clearly seen to be contribute to the value addition of the institution or the stakeholder. Only then they become context-free and less subjective. This requires predominantly fitness for the subject. I repeat, if these practices are to be useful to all, we need to identify the ones that can be so restated as to be clearly seen to contribute the value addition to the institution and to the state. This is a case of fitness for the purpose. Next slide. Next slide.
Vimala, next slide.
Yes, sir, I have
Next slide.
changed.
The identification of best practices, the input factors, the process factors, and the output factors should be taken into account in identifying the criteria of best practice. I repeat, the input factors, in between process factors, and output. The criteria of economy, efficiency, and effectiveness may also be useful. Another way of identifying best practice is the inductive approach. That is, practitioners may be asked to describe their best practices and the criteria they have applied in their identification, justifying their choices logically. From this, one can discuss the benchmarks of best practices as pursued. Suppose one teacher, Ramaswamy develops best practice. That can be institutionalized. This is what we call it inductive approach. From within the institution, the best practice should be dynamic and revisited periodically. Situation will change. Recognize the diversity and cultural historic context, not to lead to dominance and one way approach and quality perform. Next slide.